Hello, and welcome to another episode of Soul Kink Therapy. So, today I am feeling a little spicy, just like a little off the cuff. So, I've decided to bring that spiciness to Soul Kink Therapy where I can say whatever I want because it's a podcast and no one's going to quip back. Just kidding. But I want to talk about something that's been in my view a lot recently. So, as some of you may or may not know, I am in the middle of recruiting for this program that I'm launching called Outrageously Her. So it's a 4-month cohort for men interested in exploring their feminine. It is the idea is where we take the trickiest, most tender part of a man's life and finally hold it in community. His partnership, his eroticism, his boundaries, his voice, and also the feminine in him that has been patiently waiting for potentially decades to finally be understood. This is about holding the whole man, all of him. The stigmatized parts, the shameful parts, the delicious parts, the provider parts, the father parts, the lover parts, all of them in one place. I have personally not seen anything out there like it so far. Okay, so that's what's up. And I have to be honest, the response is awesome. Men are applying, conversations are being had, and I get to watch people realize that perhaps there could actually be a place in this world that wants to hold all of him, not just his masculine and not just his feminine. But in the middle of all of that, of all of these conversations, there is a conversation that just keeps coming up. It is when a a man gets genuinely excited, thrilled, I might say, about the possibility of entering into a community like this, of being seen in this way. And I can feel it and it's exhilarating. And then right at the final moments when it's time to say, yes, I'm committed to joining, there's a back away. And the words come out of his mouth or in his email or in his tech that say, this just feels too indulgent. I just don't know if I can justify this to myself or my wife. Yeah, indulgent. This word. This is the word that I've been sitting with lately. Because I know who this man is. I have worked with this man many times over the course of the last 5 years. I know he wants this so badly, more than maybe he's wanted anything else in his life, to be actually seen. And the hesitation isn't about the program. It's about whether or not he believes he is the kind of person who gets to have something like this. Belonging. That is what this episode is about. Not because, and I want to make this very clear, this is not a sales pitch. This is not me trying to convince anyone of anything. It's because I genuinely believe something is at stake when men talk themselves out of becoming. I genuinely believe we actually all get harmed when men aren't given the permission, don't give themselves the permission to heal and to do that outside of themselves. And I've watched it happen enough times that now I figure it's time to say something and have this real conversation. So if you're someone curious about outrageously her, great. That's a nice byproduct of this conversation. But mostly if you're someone who has been on the edge of actually taking the time, the resources, and the space for yourself to invest in yourself, in your healing in a very real way, and you keep finding reasons not to, this one's for you. I want to paint a portrait for you. I want you to think of a man, middle-aged, children, maybe small, maybe teenager, maybe they're out of the house. But he has spent his whole life being a good provider. And that's no small feat. He is somebody who shows up. He has worked his whole life to be a good man, a good guy. He is the yes honey husband. He shows up not only to his job, but specifically to his family. He is devoted to his wife and his children. And through all of this, every day, he does what he has to. He wakes up, he does the grind, and when he comes home, he disappears. Why? Because he has built his entire life around being useful, which again is no small feat. That is not a degrading concept. This is like, wow, what a man. However, he has built his whole life, his both internal life, his external life, around being useful, around serving other people, around ensuring that he is not part of the problem. He is always the solution maker. And the thing that I want to talk about today is that in the architecture of this man's life, he forgot to build a room for himself. And I'm not talking about the kind of room that is built around a golf course where the buddies go get beers and they just sling them back and they're golfing and they chat about their children and their wives. I'm talking about the room where he really lives. The room where he gets to fully express himself and be celebrated for that. Now, this architecture has been built quietly over decades, right? I'm sure it starts off slowly. It's like, oh God, there's a kid. Or oh God, there's a mortgage. Oh God, there's a house payment. And oh God, like my wife wants a higher standard of living. I got to work harder. Oh God, like I get it. But this happens slowly, and there's an eroding that happens. His interiority, his desires, his own body, the felt sense of being wanted rather than needed, that just sort of evaporates through the years. And that is when the man takes a look around and realizes, oh shit, I forgot how to breathe. I forgot how to be a human. Oh, wow, I am extraordinarily unhappy. Or wow, I haven't invested in my relationship in 10 years. Oh, wow, me and my wife don't like each other anymore. Like the amount of times that I have had this conversation is mind-blowing, because it is not nowhere in business school, nowhere in college do they say, you're going to want to lose yourself. Don't do it. It's not going to be good for you, and it's not going to be good for anyone around you. Don't do it. Even though when the entire world is asking, demanding for you to just no, just a little less space for yourself. Just a little, please, just a little, you know what? Your kid needs to, they need to go to Princeton. Just a little less space for yourself, please. So this is why in midlife, what I see over and over again, this is where the cross-dressing begins to just sprout. Just take hold, just like a little whisper in the wind. And it sometimes comes through the form of porn, whether it's watching trans porn or cross-dressing porn, or maybe it's just watching porn and all of a sudden they're like, wouldn't it be cool if I was the woman? Wouldn't it be so cool to be the one who desired, who got to be taken care of, who got to be objectified instead of constantly having all of my focus on the external? Wouldn't it be so cool if it was actually about me for a moment? And that is what is so beautiful about kink, is then this starts, because this is a truth and a desperation of like a nutrient this man has not gotten in 20, 30 years, that's been like truthfully starving him, then it starts to take root and it starts to blossom in his erotic life. And that's like, well, what if I clicked on this? Or what if I explored this? Or what if, oh my gosh, there's an online store where they sell women's lingerie. I wonder what it feels like to wear women's panties. It kind of feels soft. And so all of a sudden, this feminine starts to arise. And I'm sure it feels deeply terrifying to this very man who his whole life has been told sports, football, Doritos, I don't know. And I want to paint this picture because this is not random. The emerging of the feminine is not random, and it is not a crisis. What if the emerging of the feminine, whether again it starts in the erotic life, but then over time it matures into this becomes a part of their identity? And what if this is not a crisis? What if this is a reclamation? The feminine emerges as a homing signal. It's the self finally insisting on being found. It's the part of you who's been drowned at the bottom of the ocean. It's this part like, I'm still here. I need some nourishment. I need some water. Please, for the love of God, water me. This is the picture I want to paint for you because this is who I'm talking to. And I guarantee you probably about whoever listens to this, if you're listening to this podcast, you know exactly what I'm talking about because this is you. It's the same story. I don't care if you were 15 when you started this journey, if you were 8 when you started this journey, or if you're in midlife, although I am really honing in on the midlife right now because it's so common. And one other thing is I want to talk quickly about the power of objectification. Being looked at, focused on, desired, not for what you produce, but for who you are, for what you look like, for how sexy your calves look in those stockings. For men who have spent their entire lives being valued for their output, this is extraordinary. This is revolutionary. This is the antidote to the feeling that has been just draining them for decades. And so I want to, before we go on this podcast, I want to say here and now, these men are not broken. They're just late to themselves. And late is not the same as too late. Crossdressing becomes the secret place where you can finally be looked at, focused on, and desired. Not for what you do, but for who you are and what you look like. So, I want to talk about this concept of indulgence. Indulgent. Indulgence is spending on things that numb you. Indulgence is spending things, it's like the idea of self-care. It's just like self-care. Let's grab a bottle of wine, ladies. This is not indulgent, and that is not self-care. This is spending on something that wakes you up. Those are not the same categories. Spending on something that is going to change your life, spending on something that is going to make you see the entire world differently, that is going to change the trajectory of the way that you love yourself, the way that you create intimate bonds between you and your partner, the way that you are able to be with yourself in real ways. That is not, like, the idea that that is indulgent really gets my goat. I don't know where that phrase is from, but it does. If I had a goat, it would get it. And again, because what is underneath this word? It is, I am not the kind of person who gets to have something like this. That belief is what I want to examine in my cohort. Because my guess is that belief is the thing that is keeping you from everything you could ever want in your life. It is deeper, and it goes, and I'm sure it goes as deep into your childhood as we can even find. But what I'd like to do in Outrageously Her is take this belief and bring it to a field of love. That sounds cheesy. I didn't like it when I said it, but that's what I mean. When you're in community, what happens is a group field is created, specifically when you're in a conscious community of people who are there to ask themselves, what am I really feeling right now? Not, oh, this happened and then this happened and this happened, which is often how we relate, just sort of like recounting our lives. No, it's about the present moment of what am I really feeling right now? This thing is tender to me. Can the group hold it? That's when magic happens, and that only happens when there's 3 people or more. 2 people, not a group. 3 people, you're starting to get a group. And when I tell you the healing that can happen when the field is created of people who are willing to look at themselves, it's beyond anything that you could get in therapy. It's beyond anything you can get in one-on-one. That, my friend, has nothing to do with indulgence. I want to address another thing I keep hearing, and it's so legit, which is if I explore this deeper, I will lose her. I could lose my marriage. My wife has set a boundary up. Cross-dressing is her boundary. She doesn't want it part of our relationship. Yes, I get it. I talk about this a lot, and I just want to fully validate that fear. And again, let's take outrageously her out of the equation. Let's talk about like exploring cross-dressing in any way, whether it's with a therapist, like getting a therapist to help you understand your gender identity, or get a sex and intimacy therapist just for yourself to explore this part of yourself. Like uh, or meeting up with other cross-dressers or getting a support group, like whatever it is, exploring this in a more conscious way. If I explore it in a more conscious way, it'll look like I am putting more of me into it. And that's the thing that she doesn't want. I want to acknowledge that you love your wife. Whoever you are out there, you love your partner. Again, if you didn't hear me in the first 5 minutes of this, the portrait is of a man who has spent their life devoting themselves, trying at every cost to themselves to be good for their partners, even when it felt like, even when they're screaming and there's like, this is too much for me and I'm so overwhelmed and please don't ask me for another thing. At the core of it is, I'm trying to do so much for you and I'm drowning. I know this. My father is one of like, I know this man. I know this plea. And I know for a fact that the secrecy, maybe the decades or the years of secrecy, it has been an act of protection, not only for you, but for her. A way of keeping the peace, of not causing harm. I get it. And I just like that needs to be honored. Yes, I get if she found out about it, it could feel like a betrayal. And then it's like, I'm so sorry I betrayed you for all of these years. Like, I should have told you sooner. But truly, when you were doing it, I know for a fact there's a creature in there who's just like, I'm trying to protect her. I'm trying to protect us. And what sucks is that you, the thing that's creating liberation and freedom and relief in your life, has now become a dangerous weapon. You are trying to protect your family from yourself. Mm, that doesn't sound so sustainable, does it? So I want to ask this question. What has the hiding actually done for the relationship? Has the protecting actually worked? Has suppressing this part of yourself made you more present, more intimate, more honest? Has it made you a better father? Has it made you a better partner? Or has it built up a careful distance, a performance of a man who's always slightly elsewhere? because being in the present is too overwhelming, because you've spent decades eroding the core of yourself, investing in yourself so that, like, there's no other way but to be a little disassociated, to be able to go through all of it. Like, it's a lose-lose situation here. And so this is why I'm going to use outrageously her as the example, but it could be so many other things. The skills built in this container, in outrageously her, the learning how to name desire, learning how to hold boundaries, negotiating, understanding what you actually want and why, doing that root level therapeutic work. And also, like, learning how to love yourself, learning how to love your body, love your sexuality, love all parts of yourself. Those are not just cross-dressing skills. Those are not skills that just men who want to wear heels need in their lives. These are relational skills. We are just using cross-dressing as the portal to walk through. This is not really about cross-dressing. I don't know if people are getting that or not. On the many podcasts, this is not just about cross-dressing. This is about deeper relating to yourself, relating to others. These are about being better humans. This is about saying, this is what I want. Learning how to do that in one room teaches you how to do that in another room. The relational intelligence built in this cohort it doesn't stay in this cohort. It goes everywhere with you. I'm telling you, because I have coached so many people and I've seen this happen so many times, and it's something that I would stake my life on. You learn how to be more present with yourself, everything improves. Literally everything. You want more money? Fine. More money. It's for you. You want happiness? Here. You want better sleep? Here. Learning how to sit with yourself, how to be with yourself, how to be honest with yourself improves everything. I I I feel like I can throw 10 books at you right now who have way more research than I have done who validate this. This is not just for you. This is for your whole life and everyone that loves you. And the other thing is it's also about, like, if this is about cross-dressing is a big part of this, obviously, but it's also about navigating disclosure, learning how to do that and learning from each other men who are going through that with themselves, like holding themselves with dignity while also holding their relationship with care. That peer learning is irreplaceable. Men who are more whole, more present, better partners, not because they've sold them anything, but because they've stopped lying to themselves. So I just want to maybe share a reframe. It's not about, will she support this? And again, please use whatever healing modality you're into right now. And it doesn't have to be just outrageously her. It's rather, what kind of man do I want to bring home to her? Because you can never truly be intimate with another person when you're lying to yourself. So just let's take a breath. Now, I want to talk about uh, why I am so passionate about this. Why I sound like I'm on a soapbox ranting with, like, my fist up. And it's because I'm going to get emotional. This is a real world issue we are having. Our world is run by exhausted, hollowed out men making decisions from a place of depletion. This is not an abstract problem. This is a thing that is shaping everything. everything in our world right now. People are getting hurt. Families are getting separated. Like this is if we've ever seen this in deeper depth in our society, it is right here in our faces every single day. And it is my deep true belief that when men reclaim their interiority, their tenderness, their desire to be desired, their capacity to receive, not just give, they become more human. And more human men make better decisions everywhere, at home, at work, as a father, in the world. The feminine, and this is the thing that I think is at the core of all of this discussion, at the core of of everything, of everything. So hear me. The feminine is not weakness. It is the capacity to go inward, to feel, to receive, to be known, to want to be seen. These are not indulgences. They are the foundation of wholeness. This is why this is why I built Outrageously Her, not just to give crossdressers a safe space, which I really believe in. Don't get me wrong. But because we need the antidote, like Me Too is a thing that's happening, right? And what's happened is Me Too has and I could speak so I mean I'm so qualified to talk about this. But what has happened then is the overcompensation is that we create terrified men who are not stepping into their hearts and who are not courageously stepping into their hearts because their spine has been buckled. I don't want that. I want men with strong spines and open hearts. I want men who are willing to take a stand for themselves, not as an act of indulgence, but as an act of being better. And I truly believe that when we allow more men to create more space for all of themselves, you know what that's going to do? That's going to create a different kind of conversation when raising sons. It's going to create a different kind of conversation when relating to other feminine beings who have feminine bodies. This work matters so much beyond this program. My Instagram, my Soul Kink therapy, anything that I'm talking about cross-dressing specifically, at the core of this is is not only, it's not a plea, it's not a beg, it is a call to arms for men to stop performing. Stop performing that you're good. Stop performing that you're better. Stop performing that you're into sports if you're not into. Stop performing because you're hurting all of us. And I want something. I want I want something better for us. And it starts when one man takes up the mantle and says like I need space to heal. I need space to go with other people who are like me so we can figure this out together. Okay. And so if you're listening to this podcast and you hear yourself in any of these descriptions, please know I am so here with you. And this is about letting you know that there are so many people who are here with you. And this journey that you've been given to be what a man is an impossible task. And if you feel like you failed at it, it makes sense. It is an impossible task. And so if you feel like this is an indulgence, please take a step back. And really, and if you feel like this is a threat to your marriage, please take a step back. Do make the investment, take the step forward, go out on a limb, even if it feels scary, but it's the thing that's calling you to something deeper, to a life that is deeper and more rich. And now I'm going like outrageously her. I'm going to describe it because if you don't have an option in front of you, this might be a good option for you. But there's lots of other things out there. I don't know very many of them that's specific for cross-dressing. But like if you want exploring how to be a better man, there's this awesome program called the Mankind Project. I don't know if look that up or look at other men's work. That a lot of men's work is it, and if it's steeped in this idea. We need better men. And my brand, what I really believe is we need better men who have deeper relationships with their feminine. All men. And so if you are interested in Outrageously Her, please put in an application. I'll work with you. If you can't, if the price is like so way crazy high for you, and if you're passionate and if you're right, I will work with you on price. That is for sure. That is my guarantee to you. So what is Outrageously Her? It's 4 months. It's I'm hoping around 15-ish or 16 to 20-ish men. We'll see how it goes. But it's a small, intimate community. They're bi-weekly calls. And on those calls, we get real with each other. We hold each other. We celebrate each other. We do life together. We help people prepare for the hard conversations with their partners or their children or their coworker, like whatever. Like we got you. But it's also about navigating the tricky terrain of exploring the feminine in a conscious, intentional way that's also fun and erotic. Like it's all of these things. So there's the bi-weekly calls, and then on those calls we have some guest experts like Georgia Ritchie, who is like an amazing cross-dressing makeup influencer. She's already agreed to come and help us do makeup tricks, so it's like it's about the play and it's about the depth, because that's what life is. When you just go into to do the hard work and to change your lives, it can get exhausting. You need places like cross-dressing and lipstick shades and heels as a way to rejuvenate yourself so you can go back out to be better, to do the hard work. So it's that. Then there's also these small, you'll be paired up with two other men to be in like a small accountability pod. So it's like there's like this deep intimacy of these people that you'll journey with for 3 months. These are like your people. Then every person gets a free session with me to go really deep in terms of like what you're working on, how to support you. And this is for men who are done doing this alone. This is who this is for. This is not for everyone. This is men who are ready to stop managing a secret and start building a life that includes all of you. I've said it like 10 times now on this podcast. I don't want a part of you. I don't want just the button-down casual work clothes version of you. I don't want the slutty mistress that puts Instagram photos up. I want all of it. I want all of it. So, if this feels like you, and if you really feel like you're ready to deserve something like this, not despite everything you carry, but because of everything you carry. If you're interested in it, then the next step is the application. So check out www.soulkink.com/outrageously-her. I'll put the link in the thing. And again, there's other programs there's out there. I will put some resources in the comments. Please just step outside of the norm and find your way into something more. You deserve something more than what the world has prescribed to you that a man deserves. That's the end of my spicy rant. I want to hear comments. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your pushbacks. I want to hear all of it. I need to go take a bath to calm down. Okay, bye, loves. I'll see you next week.